What's going on, guys? And welcome to another episode of Loot Chest on Taste Loot Gaming. In case you don't know, Loot Chest is a show. We're talking about a random topic in gaming. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Kris.
And on this episode, we're going to be talking about what two games would we like to see do a crossover. Now, that means taking whatever you like from this game and whatever you like from that game and putting them together so you have characters who interact or gameplay mechanics that could benefit the other game. We all three picked two apiece. I'm going to start with one because I'm going to forget it. I want to see Earth Defense Force 20 whatever the fuck, that series merged with Arma. Now this sounds ridiculous, and I just thought of this, but I think the crazy mayhem that you get into in the Earth Defense Force games is already really fun, but a part of me wants to see this in first person from the ground, in a realistic fashion where like people take real damage and bleed out, where when you're shooting at the enemy, all these crazy bugs and shit, you have to aim for like key points or whatever. And it's a ridiculous fucking idea, but I for some reason I think it takes what Arma does really well and takes what Earth Defense Force does, and it kind of takes it to an area that adds like fear and fucking chaos to it, where Earth Defense Force already has that. Now you're like worried about, breaking your leg or like being more accurate with your guns.
So you essentially want both the games, but you want to keep it in the first-person shooter genre. Then.
Yeah, so essentially what I want is a mod for Arma that adds bugs.
Okay.
And destructible buildings, but Arma already has that, so. Yeah, I think this would be fun. I think a lot of people would like it, especially people in the Arma community. Earth Defense Force, I don't know if there is a community there. I think there is a small one, but yeah, I like both games a lot, and I'd love to see them mixed. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I think if we're assuming Arma graphics with Earth Defense Force swarms, I say bye-bye PC specs.
Yeah, you're going to need a high-end PC for this one. But it'll be worth it, I assure you.
No, that sounds fun.
In VR.
I like the idea of the actual systems, because even a little bit when we played Earth Defense Force, so I thought it was missing depth to the actual killing.
Oh yeah, no, you just shoot.
Yeah,
and fly around maybe.
Legs coming off, antennas, whatever. Even like let's say you're shooting an anteater through their legs and they're still trying to like walk around and stuff. That'd be cool. That's something that game doesn't have. So,
and to merge them to like in canon, you're playing Arma. It's a normal war. There's something going on in Eastern Europe somewhere. You're over there fighting and shit, normal people, and then all of a sudden fucking aliens show up, fucking insects and shit everywhere, and you're like, I gotta shoot stuff. That's the story. Any thoughts?
I haven't played either of those games.
I think you might like EDF.
I've watched you play that one. Giant ants everywhere.
Yep. 4-player. I've only played with one other person, but super fucking fun. Just shooting shit and watching buildings collapse, mechs, shit. It's awesome. But yeah, that's my first one. What's your first one?
My first one is going to be Resident Evil and Borderlands.
Okay, that one's
So
weird too.
I'd like to see like the same Borderlands gameplay mechanics, where it's a first-person shooter with lots of loot that you get, but the same like skill trees that you have. So like Jill has a skill tree where she's, special with guns, and one where she's melee specialty, and you see the different types of characters she's developed into throughout the games. And you have like Kris and all the other characters, Claire, Leon, but make it a Borderlands style game. I think that'd be
Would
really
there be
fun.
random loot?
Huh?
Would there be random loot?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think basically you're just copying the picture of Resident Evil and pasting it onto Borderlands.
Okay.
I think it'd be really fun. Because, I like Resident Evil to a point, but I really like Borderlands a lot. I think the two would mesh well together.
I'd be down for any new Borderlands in general. So, you slap on whatever skin you want, I'll play it. And depending on what Resident Evil we're talking about, I'd be a fan of it because I do like a lot of the Resident Evils. Even the newer ones that are not really horror games anymore are still really fun. Yeah, that'd be super interesting.
Well, I think you can do that. You can take all of them and make them all one gigantic map where you go through different sections as the story progresses, just like the Resident Evil through the current Resident Evil. the base story starts off with the mansion, and you progress your way out throughout the world to the end game.
Well, and if we're talking about locations in Resident Evil, that'd be even cooler because I'd love to like run around Raccoon City or run around the mansion, wherever, or the woods around the mansion in first person. No, that's really interesting. What do you think?
I mean, it sounds good to me. Other than obviously, the horror theme of it might get me a little bit, but essentially taking Borderlands and making it Resident Evil stuff. I mean, they're both very ridiculous in their nature, anyways. So, and then you said loot, so
Yeah, you got me a loot. Always, you tell me there's loot in any game, I'm like, I'll play it.
Yep.
yeah, no, that'd be fun. I mean, especially obviously with multiplayer. So,
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Nope, single player game. All that loot just for you.
you know,
Oof.
Boring. What's the point of getting loot when you can't show people? Fucking how awesome
Look at
you
my
guys.
shiny rocket launcher.
Exactly. No, that's an interesting one so far. Really, really interesting ones. What's your pick?
So I want to take characters from Final Fantasy games and Chrono games, so Cross and Trigger. But I want it to be in the same vein that they did with Dragon Quest Heroes, but in a Dynasty Warriors style game.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But then mechanically speaking, make it like up to 3 players, and then add the systems from Chrono Trigger where like you can mix your moves to create another move.
That'd be
with another
cool.
person, or
And then
if
do like dual Musu moves in Dynasty Warriors too.
you could,
Yeah.
so it's
totally
not
work.
too far fetched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could also, I mean, the idea I have in my head is, let's say you're like running around the field with like you have Tifa and we'll say Frog, and
You already got me a frog.
oh, I don't know. We'll say Vincent or whatever. You got all 3 of them, and you're running through, and you're playing as Tifa, and your friends are playing the other ones. And you're running through, and you just punch and use your Musu attack, or whatever we'll call it, limit break, and you do
Dolphin kick.
Dolphin kick, or or any of her moves,
Rush.
or they could be part of her combos or whatever. I just think it'd be neat to be able to just run through and just start going, but then you charge yours up, and Frog comes up, and let's say you what's he do? One of his moves, like a slash move or whatever. But as soon as he does it, you also do like an impact punch or something like that, and it mixes the two, and you get a move out of it. So I think that'd be really cool to mix the mechanics.
That sounds cool, and you're taking almost 3 games and crossing over, which is fine. But I think another thing that benefits that idea is the amount of weapons that's in Final Fantasy. You already get more weapons in every Final Fantasy anyway,
Yep.
so you'd have that already, that established base of weapons that you could find throughout the game,
Right.
and then level up, because that'd be important in a game like that.
When you get to take your
get new moves.
your favorite characters from whatever the 2 franchises, or you can just make it Square games in general. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I was
mind
actually gonna say,
running
what's
around as,
the
like,
correlation
Ambria.
of Final Fantasy and Chrono?
My
Cross
original thought
and
was the
Trigger?
Musu thing, because in Chrono Trigger, one of my favorite things about it is you mix 3 characters together, and then you have single, double, and triple moves.
Yeah.
But I also really like the limit break system in Final Fantasy 7, and I think that would take place of the single, Musu moves or whatever.
Okay.
So
No, it's a good idea. I would totally play that. That's probably the most balanced of the 3 so far, because that sounds like it could be a game,
Well,
especially with all the games that have come out recently that are in the Dynasty Warriors vein of gameplay.
when I still want to play the Dragon Quest one because it looks fun. So
Yeah, it looks cool for sure.
Yeah.
3-player, 4-player, whatever, that'd be cool. Yeah, no, that's an awesome idea. I would totally play that. What do you think?
I'd play the hell out of that game.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the Warriors games.
yeah.
So bring in some Final Fantasy characters.
I just want to play as Cloud with a big ass sword swinging in crowds. That'd be awesome.
I just think it'd be neat because like you could essentially get to live those characters in a non-turn based world, completely action
Yeah,
based.
it'd be fun. Check that out for sure. That's a good pick. Okay, so I'm just gonna go with my second pick. My second pick is Uncharted and Tomb Raider mixing together. I feel like this one just makes sense. They're not too different, if at all. You have Uncharted, which is about finding treasure and exploring. Tomb Raider's the same thing. They both have hints of like, not paranormal, but like crazy shit that happens that's unexplainable too,
Right.
towards the end of them. I think it'd be really neat to have in more so of an Uncharted game, because I am a fanboy of Naughty Dog. I would want them to make it and just license Lara Croft over.
Yeah.
But to run into her and have a storyline that intersects with what she's doing. Maybe they're after the same thing or whatever, and maybe there's a rivalry there.
Yeah.
But and maybe be able to play as her too, which would be kind of cool, and team up, blah blah blah, towards the end, and then have another, because she always has huge groups of fucking dudes after her too, just like fucking Nathan Drake. I feel like it would work perfectly. I think a lot of people would be excited about it. I think it would add excitement to the Tomb Raider series, because Uncharted is top dog, top Naughty Dog, and yeah, I don't really think I need to explain much more. I think it'd be a great idea. I think it'd be really fun, and I would love to play it.
It's actually funny you bring that up because I actually had humored the idea of those two mixing as well.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, like you said, it just kind of makes sense. They're
it's a
similar
no-brainer.
games. Obviously, they have different play styles, but the idea is still the same in them, where you have a character looking for a lost artifact. So
Well, it'd be cool too if you played both characters, because even though they both climb shit and stuff like that, like Nathan Drake is more of like fucking murder everything in sight, like monkey, and fucking Lara Croft like does backflips and somersaults, and is more agile in the way she shoots shit. You could implement in some way maybe the old lock-on system that she used to have, because that was always fun to like be doing acrobatics while shooting, stuff like that. I don't know. I think it'd be fun. What do you think?
I think it'd be interesting. I mean, it wouldn't be too far off just crossing together. It'd be really simple to do, but I think it would make an interesting gameplay and storyline between the two of them. See, like, I think they definitely would have a rivalry.
Well, they're both treasure hunters, so I feel like they'd
Right.
be after the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
it'd actually be pretty cool if through the game you actually went back and forth between the two characters.
Yeah.
Each chapter or whatever, so you can kind of see both of their progress through it, and then occasionally you run into each other.
So it doesn't feel like she's like the bad guy to Nathan Drake. It'd be more
Right.
like you see both their perspectives and their ambitions and why they're doing things. Yeah, totally. That'd be fucking awesome. So yeah, I think that'd be fun to play.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I'm gonna go back with you, then we'll jump back to you. So what's your second one?
I actually also picked Uncharted,
Okay.
but as a
Good pick.
Telltale game.
That would
Because
work.
they're already story heavy. It'd be neat
Yep.
to have a decision based version of that. The characters are already there. Uncharted has a ton of characters, and if you've seen the trailer for the new Uncharted 4, I mean, there's definitely story heavy games. So
Definitely.
I just think it would work.
I think it'd be almost cool to go back, not to hijack your idea, but it'd be cool to go back to an earlier part of the storyline before even Uncharted 1 and have those more dialogue-heavy parts of the story where we're learning who Nathan Drake is and how he became who he is, because we got a little bit of that in 3, which is awesome.
Or Sully.
Or Sully, yeah. And there's so much good dialogue in the games already that there's no reason why they couldn't make it just a really good dialogue-heavy, decision-heavy game in the Uncharted universe. I would totally fucking play that.
Yeah.
Because I love everything that Telltale has done so far, and I love everything that's Uncharted. So it'd be a really good mix. What do you think?
I think it would be a great game, too. I mean, Telltale games are really good. I've got a couple of them, and I really enjoy every single one. So it'd be a nice, easy way to include the backstory of how he came to be, instead of making like the Tomb Raider Origins that they did, where it's it's a long game and it's a fun game, but you could have done it in a Telltale
Definitely.
style.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, they do a really good job on just story. So it'd be good way to just get that backstory just in a really good and satisfying way. Yeah, it's a good pick. And what is your last one?
I got another odd one for you.
Okay.
So, take Onimusha
Okay.
and put it into a Final Fantasy style JRPG.
Okay.
Okay.
I never played Onimusha.
It's kind of it's an action-y game, but it's a storyline.
It was like a Devil May Cry style game, isn't it?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
But I think there's enough characters within the Onimusha universe that you could make a party
Like Jean Reno?
Huh?
Jean Reno?
Jean Reno.
Yes, Jean Reno. You could throw him in there as a special guest character. But
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Onimusha 1, Onimusha 2 already has a high list of characters in it, like side characters you can recruit to your party.
Okay.
And then 3, and I think there's a 4th one, but you could easily make it into a JRPG style turn-based game. I would really like that, because I love the Onimusha games. I haven't seen one in a long time.
Yeah, they just fell off the fucking earth.
Yeah,
apparently.
I mean, I can kind of see why, because it's basically the same story over and over again. You're trying to kill Nobunaga, the Demon
So
King.
are 8 Dynasty Warriors games.
Right.
Is there? I only played the first Onimusha, just a little bit of it, and it sucks. 'Cause I want to play the third one just because I love Jean Reno and I like what is his name, Takeshi Kaneshiro. He played the main character in it, and he's also a movie star. And I never got to play that. I just wasn't into it at the time, and now I look back, I'm like, I wish I would have played that. But is there magic in the game? Like, can you do magical stuff?
Yes, actually, it's more based on like he switches weapons. So like he's got one that's a lightning sword, one that's a fire sword, one that's a wind sword. But there's other characters like in 2. Like every character has their own weapon, so it works well in the Final Fantasy genre. So like there's one guy who uses only guns. There's Jean Reno's character only uses a whip.
Really?
Yeah, it's like this whip thing. It's like
weird.
remember those hand sticky things that you would get in the quarter machine?
Yes.
It looks like one of those without the hand on the end of it. Because you can stick to these special things and climb up buildings and stuff with it.
Huh.
But there is a set of like magic to it. It's not like super in depth, but you're fighting demons. You're basically like this spiritual guy sent out to kill the Demon King.
Well, I mean, like, the lore of the game and all the demon stuff and all that shit lends itself completely to an RPG. I was asking about the magic because I was wondering, what kind of advanced systems you could have in an RPG with that. Mm-hmm. But if you have weapons that have magical properties, like lightning and stuff like that, it would totally work. Are you thinking, like, traditional JRPG, turn-based, or are you thinking, like, tactical?
Final Fantasy 7.
Final Fantasy 7?
Yep.
So active turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would work. I'd be more enthusiastic if I had played the games more, but I think that would totally work, and I'd be interested in seeing that. I'd be interested in seeing any return of Onimusha. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen a reboot yet.
Yeah.
It's been long enough.
Capcom, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's the reason Capcom doesn't fucking use their properties. They make Street Fighter.
Yeah.
By Mega Man.
Yeah. Hey, they just released that box collection of Mega Man.
They need to release a new Mega Man. They keep re-releasing.
Now he's making Mighty Number 9.
Well, he's not with Capcom anymore. He's making his own game because fucking they won't do it. Good for him. Good for him to have that fucking freedom.
I also haven't played Onimusha.
You'd play it. It's an RPG. They're samurai.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
you had me with samurai.
Yeah.
So. No, that sounds cool. I mean, I just unfortunately don't have enough to go off of besides, what you're saying, which is if it has the lore and it has
the seal of approval,
and if it has a good variety of characters, it's what you need to make a role-playing game work most of the time.
The basic storyline you're looking at is Mitsuhide Akechi from Samurai Warriors going after Nobunaga Oda. It's they're virtually the exact same characters. Storyline-wise, the character from Onimusha, Samanosuke Akechi, is Mitsuhide Akechi's like nephew. Okay. And Nobunaga is Nobunaga Oda. And historically, Nobunaga Oda is known as the Demon King.
Okay.
So you're literally replaying a historical event, just with newer twists on it, more magic to it.
That's another similarity to Dynasty Warriors.
Love those games.
No, yeah, that sounds cool.
No, that sounds cool to me too. I don't have any honorable mentions, but is there any ideas you guys kind of thought about for a split second that you'd want to throw out there?
No, I kept trying to find things that I would want to make into a tactical game, but you could do that with a lot of stuff. And I think I'm just kind of in that mindset right now because I've just been cracking out on Fire Emblem. So
definitely.
Pokemon as an MMO.
Yeah,
yep.
I've said that a million times.
I know. Though. Everybody was talked about it for a long time. I'm not quite sure how you would run it though as an MMO, considering like
Mabinogi. So,
no, I figured you would just have a starting base Pokemon and they would level. I don't think you would, or maybe you would, and that can increase the type of Pokeballs you can use and stuff like that. But then I think you would just progress and do quests and stuff like that, and then capture more Pokemon. And there's been a couple MMOs that have kind of done that. What was that? There's that MMO that we played for a while.
Shin Megami
Tensei. Yeah. Whatever the hell, and that was pet based. Monsters. Yeah, and it was really cool.
It was. It was a lot like Mabinogi, though, in its play style. So it just needs to be a social MMO over a
definitely
core MMO.
You'd have to want to be there and have fun with your friends. Like, hey, look what I got. Check out my fucking Pikachu do a fucking sweet dance.
I mean, the best thing they could do, too, is just literally incorporate every single island that exists in the Pokemon games and allow you to pick one to start at, do that league, and after you're done with that league, maybe buy a boat ticket to go to another continent and do the next league or whatever.
Well, and PvP is easy too because you just battle each other.
Just go up to each other and duel, essentially, yeah. and random events and stuff like that. I mean, like they're doing it with
Team Rocket.
with Pokemon Go. Well, yeah, you could do stuff like that, or Team what was it, Magma and
Plasma.
is that it? I
Team
can't remember.
I'm trying to snatch your Pikachu.
But yeah, well, like in Pokemon Go, they're doing like raid style things. So like Mewtwo will show up, for example, and everyone can show up and start attacking it, type
Yeah.
of thing. They could do that very easily. So
Yeah, and I think everybody wants that. So that game, I mean,
yeah.
if you like Pokemon, you want that game.
I mean, you got people making little pet projects,
Mhm.
like one called Pokemon Showdown. I think is what it's called. So
Pokken.
Well, there's I was gonna say Pokken.
that actually looks dope.
It does.
So
I watched
weird.
a lot on it.
But yeah, anything else?
No, it was hard enough picking the two.
Oh, sorry,
Really,
I struggled. I fucking right before we start filming, I'm like Arma and EDF. I like this game. Let's mix some fucking. But let us know in the comments below what ideas that we came up with that you like, and what crossovers would you like to see made. Let us know in the comments below. I can't even fucking talk. But that's gonna do it for this episode of Loot Chats on Tasteless Gaming. As always, thank you for watching. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
Make sure to check us out on Tumblr and Twitter, Tasteless Gaming. Make sure to check us out on Twitch, Sleep Division. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you guys next week. Until then, take it easy, guys.